Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars and welcome to my review of the Grand Tour Special Seamen. Now, for those of you who are fans of the Grand Tour, which will definitely include me, I've reviewed all the seasons since they started on the channel. You can go back and look at all my reviews. I thoroughly enjoyed last season, season 3. And many of you will be aware that the format has now changed, whether you like that or not. They've done away with the studio audience format now, and it's just basically specials. Now that will either please you or not. Now I'm kind of pleased, whereas I like the studio audience stuff, some of it. I always loved the specials, so I'm very, very happy that we're still continuing with the Grand Tour and getting the specials. And the first one we get is the Grand Tour presents Seamen, yes, and these guys who have been doing car shows for decades now, this special focuses on boats, and in particular they all have to choose a boat, and they start their journey in Cambodia, and then they've got a 500-mile journey that takes them through Cambodia and other places and into Vietnam, and as you could imagine, they all choose boats that kind of fit their personalities. Clarkson basically spends $100,000 on a kit boat, and it's a kit boat that recreates the boats from the Vietnam War that the Americans used. Very, very powerful boat. Hammond gets like a speedboat that was actually used, I think he said, in the TV show that Hulk Hogan did. I can't remember what it was called now. Thunder, was it? I don't know. So he's got like this speedboat, like his Miami Vice type speedboat, and May, as you can imagine, has got like a riverboat that was built in 1939 that just chugs along at a very, very pleasant speed. So they start this journey off. It's supposed to be in the rainy season, and initially they can't even use the boats because of global warming, which actually they do highlight in this episode. The rivers are dry, and they have to do some travelling on pedal bikes to get to a river where they can actually start the journey. And they start off the journey. It's supposed to be the rainy season, even though there hasn't been any, and then as soon as they set off it starts raining, so they've got that to deal with. They've got to try and figure out how best to control their boats, because none of them are really boat people. Hammond gleefully explains that he doesn't like boats, all the rest of it, and then they get into all sorts of, the usual escapades. They stay in a hotel where they don't get a wink of sleep because there's a generator going all night, and there's like dance music going off and stuff, and fishermen setting off at 4:30 in the morning, so they don't get a wink of sleep initially. They're very grouchy. They play pranks on each other, and the biggest prank in this episode is they repaint or put some graffiti on Hammond's speedboat, which is very, very funny indeed. And yeah, it really, really enjoyable show, really, really enjoyable episode, a really, really strong start to season 4, these series of specials. Really well done. The chemistry's there, obviously it's still there between all three of them. The only thing here in this episode is they're not actually together that often, because they've got these boats. They kind of go off on their own quite a lot. They only tend to meet up like at the end of the day in like bars and hotels and things. And but initially there is a lot of footage with them together, because they're getting, certainly Hammond and May are getting like fishnets caught in their rotors and things like that, so they need to help each other along initially. And other problems happen later on. They kind of get beached somewhere all at the same time, so they kind of got to wait that out for the tide to come in and take them out. And the episode ends with I'm not kidding here, genuinely tense last 15 minutes of this episode, 15-20 minutes, where they have to get to the finish line by crossing 30 miles of open sea. And initially they think the open sea is going to be pretty calm until they start, and then they kind of caught in this journey on the open sea, and it's It's brutal. You can see from the cameras that they're all absolutely having a horrific time. Very, very difficult, very, very challenging, and they all kind of question A, if they're going to make it, and B, are they doing the right thing here. And by the end of the episode, it really, really hits home as to how difficult the journey has been for them all. So, classic Grand Tour stuff here. The three guys' chemistry is on top form throughout. You get your usual comedic moments littered throughout the episode. I just love watching these guys. That I'd watch them doing a cookery show, which they actually make fun of in this episode. The fact that they're not doing a car show this time, so you see Clarkson doing a bit of cooking and making comment about that fact and all that kind of stuff. But I would genuinely watch these guys do anything on screen together because they're just so funny. And a massively strong start to season 4, a really, really good special, one of the best I've seen for a while, even though all the specials I enjoyed last season as well. So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, a really, really strong start to season 4. Fans of the Grand Tour aren't going to be disappointed, and those that were worrying maybe that they were going to not be as good a quality as they have been previously, I think this episode will put those worries to rest because it's outstanding. So that's my review for the Grand Tour presents Seamen. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time on Screen Stars, and of course I will be reviewing every Grand Tour special as and when they become available. So thanks for watching, everybody.